Well, good morning, everybody, and happy holidays. Welcome to the December edition of Coffee with Cathy. Here with me today to celebrate the holidays are Betty Hart from the Kaiser Fire District Board of Directors and our Kaiser Community Library, Diane Watson from the Chemeketa Community College Board of Education, and just joining us right now is Jeremy Turner from the Kaiser Chamber of Commerce, which is also right now known as Santa Central. It has been a busy, busy season for the community. We have tons of information to share with you. And don't forget, you can go on to my page, Mayor Cathy Clark, and download the reel of all of the flyers that you see on the program today. So with that, Jeremy, would you like to hop on and just give us a real quick update on what's happening today?
I don't
I'm going
know
to
if
see if you can get.
those I don't know if those two things can happen at the same time. A quick update with what's happening today.
Well,
Um,
let me do let me get your graphics up, and it starts off with today with the let's see. I'm trying to talk and share at the same time. Not a great combination.
no, so
Um,
this morning we just finished up putting out the garbage cans for the parade. Um, all of Kaiser Public Works has put out all the barricades. Um, I am heading out to meet with Dave Wallery to put the banners together. And we are getting ready for check-in at 3:30 for all of the floats. We have about 70, I think, as of last night, 73 floats for the parade. And I have seen several of the floats uh, from pictures and videos that were sent to me, and it is going to be a fantastic evening.
that's wonderful. 73 floats. This is going to be a big parade, and people can watch it from any point on River Road from Lock Haven all the way down to, is it Glenbrook, Jeremy, that they'll be turning off?
Yeah, they go through Glenbrook, right there at Burger King.
All right, so reserve your spaces, set out your chairs, don't block the walkways, and get ready for a great parade tonight. Thank you to local plumbing, Kaiser Chamber, R&R Tree Service for being the title sponsors of this wonderful annual event. Jeremy, I know you and your ELF team have been extremely busy from the tree lighting to this and so much more. The next thing I have for folks to be able to reference is the parade route. So make sure folks pay attention to that.
Yeah, the River Road is sorry, Lock Haven closes at 2:30, so we can set up the staging area for all of the floats. And then we are closing down Lock Haven or River Road at 6:15 um for the parade, for River Road, for the parade itself. And then I think I would say that's pretty much it for the parade. I'm down here at the tent at the tree right now, and there's probably a couple hundred chairs already on River Road for
Wow.
tonight. I would expect a few thousand people with the weather being what it is already this morning.
Absolutely. The weather, we aren't going to talk about it, but we are thinking good thoughts toward the weather being very welcoming to the parade and everybody out there tonight. And there's going to be businesses that will have events going on during the parade. So we encourage people to support our businesses as well as all of our community members with this great holiday lights parade. But then
Yeah,
that's not
and it,
all. Oh no, that is
no,
not all. As
no,
they said in the Cat in the Hat.
yeah. Wednesday night, starting at 4:30, we are going to start doing our gift wrapping for all of the gifts that have been purchased for the kids in the community. And I would say that call the office, the chamber office, if you would like to volunteer, just so we can kind of space out the volunteers. We have a great space over at Santa Central, and I'm going blank on the name of the church.
Lake
Um,
Point Community
Lake,
Church.
there you go, Lake Point Community Church.
Yep.
Um, and so I think last year we were done wrapping all the presents in about an hour and a half, because we had so many volunteers. So if you are interested, we would love to have you there early. And I know we're going to do our final shopping on Monday, for all of the gifts.
So if people want to help with that as well, because there were a few of the gift tags that were not picked up from the trees. People did a wonderful job picking up tags and filling those tags. There are some left. So if they want to
Mm-hmm.
help out with the shopping on Monday or support a one of the gift tag recipients to get a hold of the chamber and see how they can help, right?
Yeah, we've had a few people, not have an opportunity to go out and shop before we started collecting all the information. Um, and they've chosen to just go to Target and Old Navy to purchase gift cards, in any monetary value, because we're going to go in and do the shopping to fill tags. So if that's something you're still interested in doing, we'd love for the support. Um, I will tell you that I'm extremely happy and pleased with the amount of support we've been given this year. We are buying far less presents this year than we have in the past. In the past, we've had to try to backfill $6,000 to $10,000 in presents. I would say we're probably under the $2,000 mark, this year, because we've had so many people, buy gifts and buy more than one family at a time.
Kaiser shows up. That's wonderful to hear. And
So
then after that, there's not a whole lot of rest for the chamber. You're getting into getting ready for January.
yeah, so January 17th we have our newly rebranded Celebrate Kaiser Awards banquet. We will still have the same awards that we've had in the past. First Citizen, Merchant of the Year, Service to Education, and President's Award winner. And then also the Future First Citizen, the Dennis Coho Future First Citizen Award winners be recognized. We have done a great job, with the support of our intern director, to whittle down the time in which the banquet script is done in, and we're gonna have some entertainment at the end of the event, so that people could stay around and really celebrate the award winners, which applicate or the nominations we extended to the 17th, um, mostly because we weren't going to have time to really look at anything until we were done with wrapping presents anyways. Because on the 20th, and we kind of skipped over it, but on the 20th we're doing the delivery. So if you are interested in delivering presents on the 20th of December at 9 a.m. at Santa Central over there, we will be dispersing the presents for all the kids. And
Okay.
also at the Elks Lodge, if people remember, we've partnered with the Elks Lodge to handle the food for the Give Basket program. So if you would like to deliver food, you could pick it up, the boxes over at the Elks Lodge.
Wonderful. What a great partnership with the Kaiser Elks. And then last but not least, in case people think that the chamber is only doing, events and so forth, we know that you are first and foremost a business organization supporting business, and just want to remind everybody about Small Business Saturday, but so much more that the chamber does for our businesses.
Yes, kind of forget about all of those things right now. We have done a great job, really doing a lot more business advocacy for our small business in the community. We want to make sure that all businesses know that we want to support them in any way that we can, whether they're a member or not. Obviously, by being a member, we're able to do more for all businesses in town. From different webinars or trainings that we do and luncheons, putting on community events like couple weeks ago we had our maybe even last week, our business and police community meeting, which gave out a lot of great information for how businesses can protect themselves with different situations. And just to note, one of the key takeaways that we discussed was if you have a concern or a question, you have to call the cops, call the police department just to let them know. They may or may not be able to do something for you depending on the situation, but they can't keep records and tracking things unless you let them know. So you're not bothering them because it's too small of an issue. They're happy to take those calls and happy to document.
Absolutely right. Facebook and Nextdoor are not public records. So if people are grousing there, we might see it, but guaranteed if you call the non-emergency number or you make reports on kaiseror.gov, we will have the record, and then our police and our public works or other agencies within the city can actually do something. Thank you for that great reminder.
But back to Celebrate Kaiser, we again nominations are still open. We have some fantastic submissions already, and so we are really looking forward um, to that event and really packing the Kaiser Event Center to make sure that um, we have as many people there as possible.
Open to the community, absolutely, because that's what we're about. Jeremy, thank you so much. Any thing else before I let you go to get everything ready for tonight?
I'll be better. I don't have anything else. Dave's Mr. Christmas is beckoning me right now, so I need to help him out with some stuff with the trailer at the tree here. So I thank you, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to call the chamber office, and we will get that taken care of for you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. We'll see you on the parade route tonight. Thank you for
Absolutely, thank
joining
you.
us.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. So let's go to one of our great community partners, and that is the Chemeketa Community College Board of Education. Diane, you always have such great information to share with the community, and this month is just like that. I'm going to pop up your slides so you can tell us what's happening at Chemeketa.
Thank you for having me here, and I'm always happy to talk about Chemeketa because, I can only provide you with a tidbit of what is going on there, and there are just so many wonderful things. And the first thing I want to talk about is we have a food pantry on campus at our main campus at Chemeketa, and we just opened another food pantry at our smallest site. We have 7 different sites. This is Polk County. And the pantry is going to be open on Wednesdays and Thursdays. A lot of our students are food insecure, and so we try to raise money. And we also have a giving program where you could bring in food items and for the pantries on campus as well as at our sites. But anyway, it just opened, and it was through the foundation and Polk County Center that we have this. And I just wanted to let you know it's Christmas, it's the season of giving, and we have another site here. And certainly, since you're in the Salem Keizer area, we have it on the main campus too. And like I said, a lot of our students are food insecure. You can go into the foundation. You can donate directly to the foundation for the food pantry, and or you can take in things, groceries and things like that. But anyway, I was just excited that our smallest center has now a food pantry to help out the students in that area and the community. So anyway, let's go to the next slide because our TED Center, which is the Training and Economic Development Center, is always putting on things and giving back to the community, and a lot of times in conjunction with Kaiser too. And our Kaiserites are certainly invited to participate in these events, and many of them are free. Well, this is something new because they reached out to high school students, and the center offered them the first ever Yes TED Talk on career pathways and entrepreneurship. This was done a couple weeks ago, and I think they'll do it again. But I wanted to let you also know that high school students out there, that they have a monthly newsletter, and you can and they can email you information about what's coming up and the events that you might want to participate in. And that's by emailing Katrina Padilla at sbdc1@chemeketa.edu. So keep your eyes open because I'm never sure what next is going to happen at the TED Center, and sometimes I'm a little late getting that information, but you can get it right now by by writing down that email and subscribing. Uh, our next topic here is something that's really important too, and giving back to our low-income students, including those who qualify for the SNAP program. And this is a path for a stable, well-paying career. Can reach out to each of them. It's very difficult sometimes to put all the pieces together when you're low income to go back to school. And certainly you can apply for the Pell Grant and the scholarships and things like that. But people who receive SNAP benefit go beyond that, and they're not TANF students. They're students who have SNAP benefits and not TANF. Um, and this can help them pursue career technical programs, ABE, GED, ESOL, so forth. The STEP helps students by providing one-on-one support and the gap funding, because sometimes, sometimes this helps you with tuition fee. Maybe you're not eligible for what you need. Textbooks, that's really important. At Chemeketa, we've done everything we can to cut down the cost on textbooks, but they still are out there, and we haven't replaced all of them with our faculty-led writing of the textbooks and peer review. Tools and uniforms, certification exams and testing fees, transportation. How many of our students can't get to campus at times when they need to be there? We try and hybrid our classes so they are on Zoom at the same time, but not all of them are that way. So anyway, this is, and sometimes you just need to take a test and you need to come to campus to do it. So this helps with transportation. And so if you think you might be in line for this program, call Sarah Hastings, Susan Garcia. There's a whole list of names down there, but you can just call Chemeketa and ask for somebody from the STEP program. So that's exciting. And the other thing that's exciting is we recently received $608,346 Oregon grant for this program. So there is some money available. Let's go on to the next slide. The librarians, and I put this up here because it's offered tonight. I don't know whether you're interested or not, but it is tonight. So if you want to go, it's at 5:15 p.m. on the December 13th. And this is a partnership, Chemeketa partners all over. And this is with Salem Cinema, Chemeketa Press, the Salem Public Library, for an evening of the librarians, followed by a community discussion. And wherever you are on that topic, it's for you, and your opinion certainly counts. We're all different in this area, and that makes us stronger. The librarians document the unprecedented nationwide wave of book bans and reveals the rising tension and the underlying forces fueled these censorship efforts. The film highlights librarians as first responders in the fight for democracy and First Amendment rights. So this should be an interesting discussion after the film. Tickets can be available from http://www.salemcinema.com movie The Librarians. So if you'd like an interesting evening, and if I was available, I'd go because I'd like to just hear the discussion and hear all the different viewpoints. This comes from being an ex-social studies teacher and loving to have discussions and hear everybody's viewpoints. So let's move on to the next one, other Chemeketa community highlights. We need to go to the other one first, Cathy. There's, before I say, do you have another one? There's
I
two.
do. It just got out of order.
Well, that's
Imagine
okay.
that. How about
I
that
could
one?
give you the ending first, but we can go through these. These are just some things that are happening. There's more that's happening at the Training and Economic Development at the community college. Anyway, has a podcast called Chemeketa Tables, hosted by J.D. Shin, Workforce Training Coordinator at the CCBI. The show features candid conversation with guests about the unique journeys of education and growth. And that's pretty cool. It's something else that's offered by our Training and Economic Development program. Chemeketa's new healthcare interpreter training program was approved by the Oregon Health Authority, and will be launching its first cohorts on January 10th. And that's a really important thing because people are being trained as interpreters because there are a lot of different languages that are spoken. And if you end up going to the hospital in an ambulance and you speak Spanish or Russian or something like that, there needs to be somebody with you to help interpret that. And this is another program that's going to start on January 10th. This one has my heart because the next one is the Prison Education and Community Reentry Program. They had two graduations between November and December, and on November 20th, we celebrated 13 GED graduates at the Oregon State Correctional Institution. Then on December 10th, a joint GED and AAUT, which is American Associates, the Associates of Arts Oregon Transfer degree, will take place at Santiam Correctional Institution, celebrating 10 GED completers and 6 college inside graduates, the first at this institution since COVID. So that's a celebration. And then the College Inside programs has been officially approved as a Pell eligible prison education program by the Department of Education. We have been a pilot site for several years, and they finally got the designation, yes, we can give degrees through them, and they can get Pell money to help. So, and as we know, the recidivism rate is so much lower if people who've been incarcerated come out and they have some skills and they have a degree, and it just kind of changes things for them. Uh, the beginning field for them is so much higher to find a job. So it's a kind of an exciting thing that is happening there, and it's something that Chemeketa has been involved with GED and so forth at the prisons for a long, long time. But this way, they have a pathway to get that associate's degree.
Well,
And
and Diane, can I interrupt really quick? I had the opportunity to be a presenter at the Capital Toastmasters and talking about what you are with the preparing individuals who are adults in custody, but they don't stay there forever. They come out and they need to be able to be prepared for the future. And Capital Toastmasters has been active for a very long time. It was an incredible opportunity to listen to the men who are learning to speak well, to make presentations on critical issues, their very profound thinking. And it was extraordinary to be able to be a part of that. I did a presentation on leadership, but quite frankly, I was the learner. I got to hear from 4 of the the men who are members, some of them for a long time, some of them 18 months he's been in Capital Toastmasters. And what a profound way to be able to learn to communicate effectively and then be able to advocate and be successful using these skills in the workplace when they leave the Oregon State Penitentiary, which is where this club is located. So Diane, I applaud Chemeketa for continuing to be proactive and so intentional about providing education and skills for men and women to be prepared for a successful life when they move on from that period of their life.
well, yes, and I think that's just really important because there's a lot of talent there, and it gets wasted. And this way, we can help out the students and people incarcerated and the community because they give back to the community after they finish these programs.
Mhm.
Okay. We have the Chemeketa Press because we're trying to cut down on the cost of textbooks, and some of the books that come out of there are $25, $50 or something, not $200. And they're peer reviewed. Our instructors write them. They have a peer review panel go through it of colleagues from around the state, and they have students that review it and let them know if there's something they don't understand in it, and so forth. But they've become real popular. And so the Chemeketa Press textbooks will be used at 2 more institutions this year. In fact, we've had book vendors buying them from us too. But this is the Practical Models for Technical Communication by Shannon Kelly has been adopted at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia, and Health and Fitness for Life by Rachel Larson Health and Human Performance and has been adopted at Klamath Community College. So this is really good that we're writing really quality material for our students and saving them tons of money. And then the next slide is talking about upward bound students. And our upward bound students have a give and back project once, a service learning project once a quarter. And in November, over 60 upward bound students and staff volunteered at 3 different sites, Marion Food Share, Salem Restore, and Rays of Hope in Woodburn. And the Marion Polk Food Share group packaged 12,400 pounds of food to be distributed to families in need. The other group also did really well, but apparently they weren't able to quantify it. But this is just one thing that our upward bound students are doing, and it's exciting to see them giving back to the community. Now, I have one other thing because this is a season of giving, and we have a Clinton Match Challenge. John and Nancy Clinton, 11 years ago, when the Clinton Foundation issued us a challenge to support students and understand their important role in the community with a matching pledge form. It's called the Clinton Foundation Scholarship. And with the passing of Eve McClinton, our beloved Clinton Foundation administrator, John and Nancy McClinton, have made a final contribution this year, matching this year our final Clinton Foundation. So far, we've raised $11,485. Yeah, our goal is $20,000, and there's a lot of time left before this year's over. But what happens with that is our fearless college president, if we make the $20,000, does strange things. One year, she did the firefighting obstacle course. And Jessica isn't a real robust big person, but she went through almost all of that. And afterwards, she got in the ice tub because that was and then one year she was singing the college alma mater with a Chemeketa choir, and then driving the enormous diesel 18-wheeler around campus. This was the automatic one, not the one that you had to clutch with. So anyway, I'm not sure what she's going to do this year, but I wouldn't want her to miss out. And you can go online and give to the Clinton Foundation and make this happen, and then come and watch Jessica do something strange. So anyway, this is the giving back. I'd like to say happy holidays and happy New Year. Chemeketa is alive and strong and always here to serve the community. And we wish you a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Diane. Thank you so much for you and all the members of the Chemeketa Community College Board of Education and the tremendous leadership making Chemeketa the top community college in Oregon, and dare I say, one of the top higher education institutions statewide. So this is very exciting.
Yeah,
I'm going to shift gears into the city real quick. I've got a few things to share with you all about what's happening now and what's coming up. There we go, right there. So what you're seeing is ditch this for that. Kaiser loves a good value, and one of the things we love to do also is to make sure that we are friendly toward our environment. So our environmental division has ideas for your gift giving. We have had toy exchanges, which is a great way for families to get new or very, very gently used toys that are being passed on from families that are no longer need them. And also, this is something I do where you, instead of giving a physical item, although do buy from our local businesses, support our local events like the Kaiser Community Homegrown Theater and other event venues. I buy memberships like to Zoo or the Gilbert House or things like that for my grandchildren. So think about that for a gift that keeps on giving. And also what's really fun is you get to go tag along with the kids and grandkids when they get to have these wonderful experiences. So just some food for thought there to support our local organizations. Speaking of a local organization, many of you donated very generously to the Kaiser Gold Star Families Memorial Monument. It was fully funded months ago. It has been under construction, and the date has been set for the dedication ceremony. That will be on Saturday, February 7th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Please plan to be there to help us unveil this wonderful monument that will be a space and place to honor, thank, and to bring our respect to all of our Gold Star families, not just here, but nationwide, as they come and visit Oregon and come to this very important place. PFC Ryan J. Hill Memorial Park in Kaiser Station is the location. And again, thank you to everyone who has donated their funds, their time. The Kaiser Rotary Satellite Club has done a lot of the physical labor. And the city manager, Adam Brown, wrote a successful grant to the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department to help fully fund this project. This is a picture of our state representative, Kevin Mannix, and our Kaiser City Council declaring Human Rights Day. We recognize and celebrate the human rights of every person, both here in the community and around the world, with dignity and respect for all persons. So thank you, Representative Mannix, for helping us celebrate this annual proclamation that is more than just a symbol. It is truly reflective of the values of the people of Kaiser. If I were mayor contest. Now, if you have students that want to get creative over the holidays, here's your chance. For elementary students, this is for Kaiser resident students. They can submit a poster telling what they would do if they were mayor of the city of Kaiser. If you are a middle school student, it is an essay. And if you're a high school student, it is a video essay. So get more details at kaiseror.gov and submit your entry into the If I Were Mayor contest for 2026 by the end of February. Stormwater. So apparently more rain is on the way. I know, Oregon, shocker. Keep your storm drains clean. Yes, we have a street sweeping service. Yes, they can't keep up with the leaf fall as it happens. We should be pretty much done with the leaf fall, but you can help out by making sure the storm drain in your neighborhood is clear. I even went so far as to adopt my storm drain. If you go to our website, there is a way for you to adopt the storm drain in your neighborhood and post pictures on how you are helping keeping it clear, reducing local flooding, reducing costs, and reducing localized flooding, keeping the water going to our river, because what goes down the storm drain goes straight to the river, keeping that clean. So help out, keep the storm drain clean. Construction. This is down at Kaiser Rapids Park. I'm sure you have all seen that we've been under construction again. What? I thought the fields were done. What's all this? Thank you for asking. This is phase 2. Again, we got a grant for the phase 2 construction. This was through the, again, Oregon Parks and Recreation Department, along with matching funds from our systems development charges for parks. This is putting in more permanent bathrooms. Yes. Also paving pathways and putting in the concession stand and food truck pads so that when you have a tournament or events out at the fields at Kaiser Rapids Park, you can also bring in food trucks. So that phase 2 construction is nearing completion. And are we done? No, we are not. Phase 3 will go to construction next summer. State Representative Kevin Mannix was able to secure $750,000 for phase 3 construction, which will finish out the project, including paving the parking lot and installing a new public works building to store all the equipment for maintenance for down at the park. So thank you to everybody who's been patient during construction, and this is nearing completion. Thank you also to Kaiser Community Fields for doing a great job managing this facility for the people of Kaiser. Speaking of the next thing for the city of Kaiser is we were able to recognize and welcome 3 new members of the Kaiser Police Department. Caleb Harrison had his pinning ceremony on December 1st, and here he is with his family. Welcome to Officer Harrison. And we were also able to welcome a transfer from one side of the city hall to the other. Ben Crosby is a very familiar face to everybody in the community. He does a magnificent job in community service and outreach as code enforcement. He is now one of 2 community service officers for the Kaiser Police Department, and will continue to serve our community to educate and to help keep our community safe and clean and ever so. He does a great job with our outreach and communication. Also welcoming the pinning ceremony for Officer Joshua Barnett, pictured here with the chief and his family. Again, wonderful to have him join our police department, and we continue to grow to hire new people as other people find the pathway to retirement after long and distinguished careers with the Kaiser Police Department. Speaking of our Kaiser Police Department, with change comes an opportunity to look at what we are doing and how can we make things even better. So posted online, and the new one, the fully completed 2025 departmental analysis and staffing overview, will be posted very soon. The 2025 version of the October one that you see here was a draft. There are updates being made, and it is being posted to kaiseror.gov. So you can read about what we are doing, how we are not only keeping costs down, but we are utilizing cutting edge technology to improve the ability of our police officers to do their job and keep our communities safe. Also, what is the proper level of staffing, not just bodies, but also in what capacities? What are they doing? What does our community need? Great job by Chief Andrew Copeland, his team, and in collaboration with the entire executive leadership team under the leadership of our city manager, Adam Brown. Read all about it and learn more about Kaiser Police Department, our largest department in the city of Kaiser. Also, you want to stay in the know on this and so many other things, you can subscribe. Rather than using the old Excel spreadsheets and trying to keep track of lists, the city staff has done a great job modernizing how people can subscribe to get alerts and updates and give you the control to figure out and to subscribe to the things that you are interested in. So go to our website at the link that is on the screen here, and you can subscribe to receive email or text alerts about news, events, job openings, and of course, our agendas for city council and all of our city meetings. So kaiseror.gov/list. So going into our community, let's talk about some things that happen in the building next door. A couple of things before we bring Betty on to talk about the library. Within the Kaiser Cultural Center, we also have the Kaiser Art Association. They have their December show going on now, and they also have a gift shop for beautiful local art that you can purchase for gifts, both now and year-round. Also, in music, we have the Kaiser Community Concert Band. They did perform at the Glow on December 3rd out of Volcano Stadium, and they will be providing a free concert at the Kaiser Civic Center at 7 p.m. on December 18th. If you want to hear some wonderful local holiday music, come on down for that great concert. And if you are a musician who would like to find out about joining, please reach out to them at their website. Also in the community right now is the Kaiser Miracle of Lights. If you drive through the Gubser neighborhood any night between now and December 26th, you can see homes that have beautiful lights displays from 6 to 10 p.m. And we are very grateful to be able to receive any donations that you would like to make to the Marion Polk Food Share. There's a tent for you to be able to drop off canned foods. If you want to know which ones to bring, please check the Food Share for their top 10 cash donations and a QR code. This is the largest single fundraising event that the Marion Polk Food Share does each year. Of course, they are fundraising year-round, and they are by and large locally funded. It is your generosity that keeps our Marion Polk Food Share able to feed people in need in our community year-round. So please come and enjoy the lights. Thank you to all of the Gubser neighborhood neighbors who participate in this and put up with the traffic and make this a wonderful event for the community and support the Marion Polk Food Share. So with that, that's what I have under community. And this familiar little character is someone Betty knows about. Betty, do you want to tell us about this little guy?
Yes, this is Bernie the Elf, and he's now at Kaiser Fire Station through I think the Christmas, a little maybe a little later than that. So he's part of some of the posts on Facebook, so you can follow him there. I just personally love his posts. He's so delightful. And I saw a post a few days ago where Bernie had a naughty list of fire people who were, you know, maybe not nice all the time. But anyway, it is a lot of fun and he's a great character. So you can follow him on Facebook and find out what's going on at Kaiser Fire. Yes,
Well,
the probably the big news for us is tomorrow, Sunday, is breakfast with Santa at Kaiser Fire. The breakfast starts at 7:30, goes till 11:30, and it's a great their pancakes are really good, considering they make them hundreds at a time. I'm very impressed. And so I look forward to being there tomorrow, and I'll be helping greet people and taking money. And so I hope we see a lot of Kaiserites and others coming to breakfast tomorrow. So anyway, that's tomorrow's news. And then we have Candy Cane Day coming up on Saturday, the 20th. And this is from 10 to 2, and it's drive through at the fire station. So just come to the fire station between 10 and 2 p.m., and they'll be giving you candy canes. Santa will be there, and there's an opportunity to take pictures with Santa. Santa will be at the breakfast tomorrow also, and you can take pictures with Santa at the breakfast. So, a couple of really fun events, which kind of leads me right into some of the community services that Kaiser Fire District provides. And so they'll rescue children or pets that are locked in vehicles, because that is very dangerous. Even when the weather is cool, it can get pretty warm inside of a vehicle. And then they assist the police with lost child services, and they respond to numerous other community needs day or night. I recall calling them one time to help me pick my husband up off the floor because he couldn't get up by himself. So that was so helpful. And right after Thanksgiving, the career staff and volunteers participated in Fill the Boot for MDA, and the Kaiser Fire raised over $8,000 that day. So a big thank you to all the people in the community who put money in the boot while they were shopping. So that was a really great opportunity. And then I have one safety tip for everybody to remember. If you have a live Christmas tree, be sure you keep water in the tree stand so that the tree doesn't dry out. Once the water is gone, the tree can um, the sap area can kind of seal over pretty quickly at the bottom of the tree, and then it's hard for it to take up any more water and stay fresh. So, and then be sure to turn tree lights out when you leave your home or when you go to bed. So, uh, yes, tree safety is really important at this time of year, and of course, year round too. Anyway, so that's what I have from the fire district. Pancakes tomorrow, and candy canes later next week.
well, and just in case people think that it's all about candy canes and pancakes, I appreciate that the Kaiser Fire District posts this each month, so we get a sense of just how busy our firefighters are. This
Yes.
poster was from your page at the end of November
Yeah.
with
Excuse
can you
me.
see it? Oh, you know, I'm
Nope.
at the wrong. I have the wrong one up there then, don't I?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay,
It
let me get the
looks
right one up.
like, yes.
Let's try that one.
Well,
Is that it?
there you go. Yes,
Okay.
624 calls for service, which, if you can do the math, means that it's approximately 20 calls a day, uh, then a 24-hour shift. And we have 12 to 14 people on duty usually during the day. And of course, you don't just go and you're done in 15 minutes. If somebody has to be transported, that can take quite a long time because the firefighters will stay with the patient until hospital staff takes over responsibility. And of course, if there's a fire, that can take, even a small one, can take quite a while to be sure it's fully extinguished, and mop up is done afterwards. And of course, so it's pretty busy at the fire station, which is why we do drive-through candy cane these days, because we don't have the luxury of taking the trucks around to the various streets that the fire district used to do. I remember having them come down my street and racing out to say hello. Anyway, so now just come to the fire station. But 624 calls for service in a month is about what we've been doing, give or take a few. Yeah, anyway. So, and it is keeping our employees busy for sure.
Well, I want to share one more thing, and
Okay.
I thought this was a lovely picture of the Chick-fil-A cow, but also with Santa Claus and greeting the children at the tree lighting. Thank you to Kaiser Fire District for bringing Santa to the tree lighting that
Yes.
launched the holiday season.
Yes, of course. And they love doing it too. That is great. I love the
So let's talk
sign.
library.
Yes, let's talk library. Oh, yes. So the adult coloring club is, I think, had a short hiatus, but they're back. And so now every fourth Saturday at 1:30, bring a this there will be some supplies, but this is an opportunity for adults to kind of, I think it's a great way for people to unwind, because you get sort of distracted from the stressful things going on in your life and you focus on filling in the uh, spots and picking your colors. And so it's a good opportunity for people to adults to feel better about how things are going. Anyway, yeah, and we have some activities coming up during the holidays for kids and others. Let's see. I
Let
look
me get
and
to your other slide. How about that? There you go, like
okay.
that.
Okay.
Bingo.
Yeah. On December 30th, it's book bingo. And so at 3 o'clock, and the kids they have a bingo card, and if they get bingo, then they get a prize. I think it's a book, just saying. And so that's a lot of fun. And then we have crafting at the library on the 22nd between 3 and 4 p.m. to make some ornaments for the holidays. So, uh, anyway, that's a great thing for kids to do. And then, of course, right now we have Cuddle Up Reading Club. Yes, so kids can sign up now. It's just started in the last day or so. And then you get to through this goes from December 12th to March 28th. Kids read books and complete activities to earn prizes. And you keep track of what you're doing on a page, and it gives you ideas of what to do. And so all you need to do is drop by the library and pick up a card and get going on reading more especially now, soon when the kids are out of school, of course, but throughout the winter when it's kind of not always nice to go outside. So that's a big important part of our winter programming. We have a lot of Christmas books now on display at the library, including some for children as well as adults. And we have over 1,800 DVDs for free checkout, including many holiday stories, including ones for kids. So if you want to have some DVDs on hand during the holidays, just drop by the library and check out a few. We also have kind of ongoing activities, preschool reading time every Wednesday at 10:30, reading for the whole family in Spanish, every Saturday at 10:30. And then children can read to a dog starting at 11 on January 3rd and 17th. And you can sign up for a slot ahead of time at the library. So that's kind of a fun activity. I think we've had a really good response for that.
Well, Betty,
So,
and if people are making New Year's resolutions and decide to get more involved, the library welcomes volunteers and would love to have them check that out. Where's a good place
yeah.
for them to get more information?
Okay, so we do have a website, and it's, oh, of course,
I'll put it in the chat.
kaiserlibrary.org. Yeah, I think, but you also can drop by the library. We have a manager there 4 days a week. Kelly is her name, and she will be happy to help you explain to you what the options are, everything from staffing the front desk to shelving books to um, doing just other tasks to help in the library. So not all the jobs are the same. So it's a great opportunity for people to volunteer. And of course, the library is located in the Kaiser Cultural Center next to City Hall. It's a great place to visit and see what's going on in our community. And of course, we'll be closed on Christmas and New Year's days. And we're usually open for 4 or more hours, Monday through Saturday. So
Well, thank you
that's,
so much, Betty. Thank you
yes,
for your volunteerism and leadership in the community.
thank you.
Thank you for sharing all this information. That wraps it up for Coffee with Cathy for December of 2025. And I just want to thank Betty and Diane, Pastor Dominguez, Jeremy, for being so wonderful in being a part of this program throughout this year. Getting information out to you in the community about what's going on in our great city is something that we want to make sure we can do the most of. So thank you, Betty, and everybody who's been on this program for helping make that happen.
Yes.
So with that, I wish everybody happy holidays. And thank you so much for joining us for the December edition of Coffee with Cathy. Have a wonderful holiday. We'll see you in the new year.